Let's now get to North Korea. North Korea appears to have fired another missile. I already mentioned that for many reasons, we should be worried that Donald Trump will be looking for an escalation with North Korea. Escalation would be great for Trump. Nothing going on legislatively. The recent subsequent additional failure of the Obamacare repeal. No achievements to speak of, constant scandals, a sort of circus of clueless aides and staffers and cabinet members and advisors. North Korea fired a projectile early in the weekend, landed in the Japanese exclusive economic zone. The Pentagon detected the launch. Japan's chief cabinet secretary said that the North Korean missile flew about 45 minutes before landing. The U.S. military and the South Korean military have been meeting to discuss possible options. China, which is North Korea's longtime and really, I think it's fair to say, only serious ally, has been pressuring North Korea to abandon its nuclear and ballistic missile program. That hasn't worked too well. And Donald Trump now is also going after China. In the wake of this incident, Donald Trump took to Instagram. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, Twitter. That's where he always goes. And he tweeted, "I am very disappointed in China. Our foolish past leaders have allowed them to make hundreds of billions of dollars a year in trade, yet they do nothing for us with North Korea. Just talk. We will no longer allow this to continue. China could easily solve this problem." For all the reasonable and fair criticisms of China, which there are many, does Donald Trump realize that if he really does sour our relationship with China, that tons and tons of products that Americans buy will get way more expensive in a way that could be crushing to the American economy? I'm not defending China, Pat, to be clear. Sure. Pat's making notes like, oh, David's defending China now. Does Trump have any idea how these basic issues of economics and trade work? I genuinely don't think he does. We have no reason to think he does.
No, he doesn't. And obviously, I mean, these issues are much more complex than he thinks they are.
Of course.
Solving, the North Korean crisis isn't as easy as having China go do it for you. Solving peace in the Middle East isn't as easy as sending Jared Kushner over there. I mean, these things are complex.
They are very complex. And there's no evidence whatsoever that Trump understands any of it. But let's put China aside for a second, right? Back to North Korea. Experts say that North Korea currently is known to have the ability to send missiles to all of South Korea, Japan, and Guam. The Pentagon has declassified an email which says that this was an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, that traveled about 1,000 kilometers. The South Korean president is seeking a UN Security Council meeting to consider stronger sanctions on North Korea. We'll talk about whether that makes sense. And an expert says that North Korean ICBMs might be currently able to reach some major U.S. cities on the West Coast. So these are significant risks that exist.
And I've even seen on the East Coast, now there's really questions as to if they would be accurate or if you could attach a nuclear warhead to those missiles. But it would be interesting to see if our representatives in Congress, if Trump himself changes his tone on this, knowing that it's more of an existential threat.
Correct. And that's the question, right? U.S. and South Korean defense officials are saying, well, what are our military response options after this? And this is a very difficult situation because sanctions appear to do very little other than to starve the population of North Korea, which we are presumably not trying to starve. You can do military action, but you have to sort of concede that there will probably be pretty significant civilian casualties. And that's where Trump needing to do something for his presidency and being increasingly isolated and miserable and erratic and watching TV in the Oval Office, that's where it could come into play. And we're going to be watching it very, very closely. The video you just watched was made possible by support from you. Please go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. You can make a pledge of as little as $1 per month. And every dollar helps to support the work that we're doing, particularly in light of the YouTube ad boycott, which has been really bad.